All right. Welcome to Here for the Horses. Glad you are here for the horses. Leanne says she can't hear. Can everyone else hear?
Yes.
Okay, so she's gonna log back out and log back in, and hopefully that fixes it. Okay, so agenda for today. We're gonna do our normal video. I actually have two of them. Actually, I have two of them to watch real quick. So that'll be fun. And they both kind of fit into something that we've talked about. One of them's going to fit into something that we're talking about today. And then one of them fits into something that I've just recently been talking about. And then we're going to go over the homework for this week. So that'll be good because that plugs into what we're going to be talking about. And then I have an experiment that we're going to do. So it's going to be really fun. And I thought of this based off of a TikTok or like a Facebook reel that I saw. And I go, geez, I wonder if that would work on horses. Well, we'll see. It was pretty cool. And then I want to look at I'll talk about a couple things and see if we have time to look over any more videos. Okay, so that is the plan. Let's see. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat too. Is Leanne back on yet? Oh, Sylvia. Sylvia's here. We'll keep our eye out for Leanne. Okay, so the video. It's pretty cute. I have two of them actually. So the first one that I want to show you, remember I was recently telling you that 3 horses fell asleep in my clinic. Oh, there's Leanne. Leanne, you can hear now? Okay. 3 horses like laid down and took a nap in my clinic last year here in Enumclaw. Sue's horse was one of them, and then I had 2 others. So I wanted to show you this. This is really cool. It's not just me. Okay. So Masterson method, if you aren't familiar with it, it's awesome. Had horses lay down and take a nap too. So that was pretty exciting. When horses lie down and sleep in the middle of a weekend course, you know something real is happening. A shift in trust, in connection, in being with the horse. So he just kind of talks about that happened in his courses too. So I thought that was pretty cool because I've never seen that before. that horse is dreaming. That's wild. So I thought that was awesome. And it's not just me. Okay. The other one I was gonna share with you, let me find it. This one's super cute. And it's gonna tie into something that we're doing today. So let me find it real quick. There it is. Okay. Hold on. Share. Okay. Hold on, you might not be able to hear it.
Let's go. Pasta, please, Ma. Ma, tell me.
Whoop.
That ain't no bear.
But listen, it's so cute.
I know. Toilet. Let's go. Pasta, please, Ma.
Anyways, it's so cute. It's just this little girl riding her like 32-year-old pony or something like that. And the end of the video, her mom's standing next to her and she goes, Mom, we're not ever gonna sell Mac, are we? And mom's like, no, we're never gonna sell Mac. But she's so cute because she's like, come on, Mackie boy, a little faster. I know you're old and tired. And I was like, yes, see, you gotta have sympathy, man. But it was so cute. So it's nice to see. She's quite the rider too, I'll tell you that right now. Impressive. Impressive little rider. Okay. Okay, so that was kind of cute. All right, let's talk about homework for this week. Okay, homework for this week. Let me pull it up. It's funny, it doesn't like to. It's going to be, so we did legs. Okay, so now we need to finish the legs off. And what we're gonna do is I gotta go to downloads here, hold on. We need to finish off the legs. So we're gonna do ting points. Okay, that's gonna be one of them. And we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Cornet band. Ting points. And then we are going to talk about words of affirmation. Okay. Cornet band, ting points, words of affirmation. There's your homework. So the cornet band's easy. And it's cornet or coronary, however you want to say it. They're both right. Okay. And then ting points, and then words of affirmation. So the cornet band, you're just going to rub it. Just going to rub it. Scratch it. I like to scratch it, actually. You'd be surprised how much they enjoy that. They just like it. Okay. Make sure to get the heel bulbs really well. Okay. And then we are going to do ting points. Now, I compiled some information for you guys because ting points are funny. It's kind of across the board anytime you talk to people about ting points. This is generally what they say, and I think it's really funny. It's the same, it's what I say too. I'm not going to talk about what the ting points relate to, just in the front legs. Yeah, Stephanie. I'm not going to talk about each individual ting point and what it relates to, but I want to show you ting points and show you where they're at. It's like what everyone says. It's so funny. So I know that some people really go into a lot of depth and some people know a lot about ting points, but even in Masterson Method's book, this one here, he pretty much says, I'm not going to go into it, but here they are. And this is what I do. It's really funny. So ting points, let's talk a little bit about them first. What are they? Well, they're the beginning or the ending of meridians. Okay, meridian lines go through the body. So they're the beginning or the ending of meridians. It's really fascinating when you start looking into meridians and how they go through the body. Okay. And then I wanted to kind of compare how different modalities work on ting points, because there are a lot of modalities that talk about ting points. Okay, so Masterson Method talks about it, and I was going to look it up and I didn't. Red light therapy, acupressure, acupuncture, massage therapists. Oh yeah, so Gary Whiting, he does like shiatsu, so more aggressive massage. He talks about ting points. I said red light, laser. Okay. Oh, and then someone had just said they use oils on ting points. And I was like, okay. I don't know anything about oils. I think they're cool, but I don't know anything about them. So I was going to tell you some of the differences in what people do. Okay. So Gary Whiting, he's kind of interesting to watch. He says hold the ting points for 5 seconds. So he pretty much just touches them and lets them go. Okay. And he doesn't pay a lot of attention to, at least I don't know, based off the video I watched. He doesn't really pay a lot of attention to the horse's reaction or anything like that. He also uses this machine that he has created on the ting points, which is a little ridiculous because it's about this big. It's like the size of a hand sander, you know, those square sanders, and he takes that around the ting points on the hoof. It's a little much. I was like, Gary, calm down. His name's Gary Whiting, but it's Geary, Gary Whiting. And I studied some of his work. The thing is, he takes his thumb and he like presses in and like does like really deep friction with his thumb. And I just thought to myself, my thumb's not going to last that long. It's not going to last that long. And he does it on a lot of horses. And some of the videos I was watching, the horses were like hating it, like hating it, you know. And so you guys know my opinion. Sometimes I will take them through not liking something and they can thank me later, but I don't let it escalate. And the video I was watching, these horses were about to rear up and stuff, and I was like, okay, but he's effective. So, you know, there's a place kind of for all body work, but I try not to make them that mad, you know. Okay, so is Gary Whiting. This group of people, photonic health. You heard of them, Wanda? Okay. I was looking at some stuff that they had. They do red light therapy from what I can tell. Okay.
Yeah, they
And
were really involved with Pirellis for a while.
oh,
When I
okay.
first ran across them, was when West Nile was a big deal,
Okay.
and they were able to kind of reverse or save horses from West Nile by red lighting the jugular and the carotid.
What? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, some of their stories are amazing. I went and took a 3-day class with them. They were in Pagosa one summer.
And
So,
do they only do red light?
they have spread out because they use blue light for staph infections,
Okay.
and then they developed like a pad that has multiple
colors.
lights in it. And I've
Oh,
not
really?
used that. I still have the original torch. It's good on early colic and that type of thing, but it's
Really?
a reputable
Cool.
company, and they've been around, I don't know, 30 years or so.
Nice.
I've used the Photonic Health red light and their procedures for laminitis and on ting points for, well, particularly I had a horse, I don't have him anymore, but I would do probably 3 treatments a week on him and his hooves, and it really helped a lot.
Mm.
And
That
now
sounds
when I have a horse
awesome.
with acute, anything in their legs, I pretty much do it on their hooves. I mean, their ting points.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what
I,
they were saying. They were saying it can stimulate the foot.
I use the red light a lot for a lot of things.
Is it that same company, Nancy, or a different one?
Well, it's not, but it's not the same company, but I watched some of their videos and stuff. I learned
Yeah.
from McLaren, who was, 20 years ago. And then I've learned from him and his apprentice, so to speak, since then. So
Right on.
I've got the McLaren red light, but it's just the red one. But again, I've learned from Photonic Health on different things.
Yeah, I like.
I
Go
do
ahead,
red
Shelley.
light as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I use greens, I use reds, I use blues, depending on what the situation is.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like that has a lot of different uses. I think they should go after that protozoa. They should figure out something to do with that thing. You know what I mean? That's everywhere. And
You
I
mean-
feel like that
You
that
mean
needs,
Are you talking
What's
about
that?
EPM?
yeah,
Yeah.
that
I-
needs to
I
be
think
figured out.
Photonic Health does have an EPM protocol.
Okay, because I'm telling you, it can't just be from possum pee. There's no way.
No, I use it for EPM.
Uh-huh.
I've got a veterinarian that does acupuncture and stuff, and he's told me points to use for the EPM.
We got to get more research on that because that's a big problem and it's like everywhere. And I'm confused by it, how it's so prevalent so many places. It's gotta be under control somehow. So yeah, so they have a video on Ting Points if you guys want to watch it. It's really cool. The way that they did it, they say to do it 1 inch above the hairline. Okay, so that's one of the differences that I've come across. In Masterson method, you can tell all, so this is the book on Masterson method here. See if I can get, so he's kind of on the coronet band. Okay. So that's one difference that I've noticed. Okay. Is that you're going to have differences between whether it says to do it on the coronet band or the photo. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Photonic.
Photobiomodulation or photonic therapy.
Photonic. There it is. I
Photonic.
just need to say it like 50 times and then I'll get it.
Yeah.
The photonic says 1 inch above. Okay.
Yeah, that's because when you use red light therapy and you put the torch on the area, it floods the cells. It floods the mitochondria. So when it floods the mitochondria, it starts the healing process.
So you want it above the coronet band for that reason?
You can do above the coronet band or right on it because
Oh, okay.
the torch,
Good.
it's not like a laser. The torch is, about 1 inch across. So
Okay.
you're covering that area.
Okay, cool. So that's why they probably said to do it, it just would cover more area then.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was one of the differences that I noticed. They also talked about going off of feel. Okay, so they said that it can feel concave, it can feel flat, it can feel protruding. And then another person talks about it being warm. Obviously we're always going to be paying attention to temperature. Okay. And they said to do opposite lines at the same time. Okay. So Masterson method teaches you can do multiple points at one time. I personally like to do one at a time because I want to know which one is having the response. But some people are not looking for a response in the horse. Okay, so I thought that was interesting. So like Gary Whiting, 5 seconds, you're not going to be able to see anything. Okay, so he's not really looking for a response. He's just trying to stimulate the area to tell the body to release. Okay. Masterson method is definitely waiting for a response, not only looking for a response, but waiting for a response. And I'm going to talk about that today because that's what I know. That's the training I've had. But just so you know, there's a lot of variance. And then I asked my friend, I don't think she got back to me yet. She's an acupuncturist because they use it also. Obviously if they're putting acupuncture needles in, they're not going to put them in for 5 seconds and then take them out, right? They let acupuncture sit for a little while. So she didn't get back to me about how long they take. She did say, depends on the situation, but it's going to be longer than 5 seconds. Okay. So let's look at 2 photos. If you guys, obviously I have my video on the Ting Points in the clinic. So if you need the clinic, let me put that up. For those of you that are doing Journey Through the Horse, you already have it. But if you're not, if you're not and you want to, there's the clinic that you need to get in. And then I have it's a 7-minute video on Ting Points. I go over the points and I go over how I do it, okay, which is really similar to Masterson method. I will sometimes wait longer though, just because it's really clear to me when horses are trying to, and we might talk about that if we have time. Jennifer had a cool video this week of Teddy. He was trying to tell her something and it was really cool. So I like to wait because I want to see if I can get a release out of them. That's just what I do. But let's take a look at the photos that I have. I have 2 of them. Let's see if I should make you guys go through looking for these with me here. It's probably gonna be in here somewhere. That's not it. I'm starting to compile information on tie downs, you guys. I've been contacting some people and people are interested. They're very interested. So, but there is not a lot of research out there. That's the problem. But I really feel like we need to start figuring out. Okay, so here's two of them. Admit. Okay, so here's some ting points. The way, well, I'll wait. I'll wait. But each one of these has a meridian that it is connected to. So this is kind of a cool chart. And this is on my Winning Your Horse's Heart page. So if you want to look at this one, you can. Okay. But each foot is set up the same. So there's 6 points on each foot. Okay. And then let's look at this one. So this is, you know, the foot. Okay. And then these are the abbreviations for it. Okay. So you can look those up per foot, what they go to if you want to. You just have to Google it. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. So if you get a major response on your horse, then I want you to look up what that point is. Okay. Look up what that point is. And I'll put this one up also so that you guys can see it. So here, I'm going to tell you how I do it. The way that I do it is I do one ting point at a time. And I do that because I want to know exactly which ting point gives me a reaction if it gives me a reaction. Okay. Some people, they take a little while, you guys. So some people don't want to do that. And I get it. I can't do ting points and do a full body massage. It takes too, just like I can't do the bladder meridian on a horse and do a full body massage. I don't have that much time. Bladder meridian, that can be a journey, right? Those of you that have done that, it take forever on some horses, especially if they're really closed off. If they're open, it's fine. Or if they don't have a lot of tension, that's fine. But some, that takes a long time and you got to do both sides. So it's a journey. So I do like to feel, you can kind of feel these points. Okay. So I do like to get a mental note, and you guys that have your packets, I want you to make notes per horse. Okay. Or a notebook, notepad, whatever. So I lightly press, and it's very light. It's not like you're trying to do work on it. You're just trying to bring attention to it. Okay. Now I look for blinks or reactions. Okay. So I look for blinks or reactions from the horse. Now that can be them coming down and looking at you. That's a funny one. It can be them, you know, kind of looking around or getting fidgety. All right. And so what I'm going to do when I'm working on these is I'm going to hold that position until I get a release. So if I don't get a reaction, I move on. So that might be a 10-second hold. I say in my video, 15-second hold. If you're waiting 15 seconds, you should at least get either no reaction at all, or you should get a reaction that tells you to stay there. Okay. So one or the other. If you get no reaction after 15 seconds, move on to a different spot. But if you get like blinks or like a fidgetiness, or kind of like you can feel, sometimes you can feel their energy kind of mounting up. That one's really cool when that happens. Okay. So just pay attention to each point if you can. And then obviously if you have horses that are weary about their legs, just be careful and don't put yourself in any positions that you shouldn't be in. Okay. I like to start at the noon. So the 12 o'clock position in front of the hoof. You don't have to, you can do whatever you want. And then I go to the 6 o'clock position. So I do those two first. That's just me. I find a fair amount in those two spots. And then I also find a fair amount on the lateral. So the outside 2 spots. Okay, and then you're gonna do 2 spots on the medial, so the inside of the hoof or inside of the cornet band. Okay. So sometimes if I'm rushed, I'll do those 2 together, because at least I'll group those 2 together easily. So I want you to touch, lightly press, feel what you feel, look for a response, and it doesn't always have to be blinking. It can just be some other sort of response. And then wait. If you get a response, I want you to wait. Sometimes that can take a while. That's why the way I do it takes a little bit longer than, you know, holding it for 5 seconds. What does Masterson method say to do? Oh, he says air gap. Oh. He says counting 1 alfalfa, 2 alfalfa, 3 alfalfa, and it should take up to 6 to 8 flakes of alfalfa to get your wrist to your fingertips. That's funny. Anyways, that's a good way to do it. 1 German muffin, 2 German muffins, 3 German muffins. Okay. All right, so those are ting points. They're super interesting. Feel free to play with those, especially I want you guys to be careful. It's springtime right now. That spring grass is coming out strong. Be careful. And I've noticed, and I don't know, I still don't know why this is, even horses that are on like installs and paddocks that don't have grass, they also will gain weight for no reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. But it's really weird. Okay? So let's not have any hot feet running around during the spring season. Okay, any questions on ting points? That's gonna be your homework for this week, and then scratch that cornet band. They like that, especially if it's been muddy out and they got all that funk in there and, you know, it's starting to dry out. Feels good. Okay. Yeah, Stephanie.
Okay, I'm trying to visualize this. Okay, I understand where 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock is. I'm on the left front. Okay. When I go, you know, the way the clock goes is 1 o'clock would be on the outside on the left foot or on the right foot, and it would be on the inside of the left foot. How does that
Yeah,
go?
so that's
Is that
what
right? Am I reading that right?
that's what this is. So this is the hoof.
Yes.
So this is the 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then you got 2
Uh-huh.
on the outside.
Uh-huh.
2 on the inside.
So the 1 o'clock on the front one, the front left is an LI. And the 1 o'clock on the right front is an SI, right?
Yeah, the medials, medial
Okay.
and lateral. Yeah,
Okay.
they're the same.
It's all right. I'm just making sure that I'm orienting myself. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think this chart is in my downloads too. I'm not sure. I'll put this one up too. I haven't put this one up, I don't think. Okay.
It is good to think more, I think more medial and lateral, because when you switch feet, the clock does switch in your head. So, you know, there's the inside ting points and the outside ting points. The front and the back, 12 and 6 aren't too hard, but I think more medial and lateral than 10
I
o'clock.
do too.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, so last part of homework. I don't know if you guys have seen those videos out on like I don't know, Facebook, whatever reels, where the owners will look at their dog and they either look at them and tell them that they're a good boy or good girl, and then they wait, or they like kiss their face and then wait, and then watch the dog's reaction. It's really interesting. It's really cute. It's really cute. But I thought to myself, what would horses do? Because you know how much I talk about horses are masters of intention, of intentionality. They really feed off of the energy that you're putting toward them. And I thought to myself, what would happen if we just spoke words of affirmation to our horse and like watched? Okay. So I have two horses that are opposite sides of the personality spectrum. I have tough red mare and I have sweet, cute, loving, joy-filled gelding. Okay, so I got the opposites. So I did it to both of them. This is going to be your homework, if you choose to accept it, is I just want you to stand in front of them and speak words of affirmation to them, and not that you guys would make it up, but make it specific to them. Because not only are Georgia and Chester like completely opposite in like personality, but their skill sets are different too, right? They're just different horses. So I spoke words of affirmation to both of them. And each affirmation was specific to why I like them. Now you can do this however you want, but I'll show you Chester's video. I told Chester why I liked him. I like you because, okay? So let's watch this video and then we'll watch George's. I'll tell you about George's in a little bit. It was different. But we'll watch George. I clipped George's down. Okay, so Chester was, just hanging out with me. And can everyone see this? And you might not be able to hear the affirmations all that well, but it's not the important part. All right, here we go. Chester. Chester. Do you know what I like about you? Do you know what I like about you? I like that you're funny. And you're smart. And you're fun to be around. Yeah. That's what I like about you. You know what my favorite thing about you is? I think you're the definition of joy. There'd be a little picture of your face in the dictionary where it says joy. That's what I like about you. You're fun to be around. Smart too. Yeah. Was that a lot? Is that overwhelming? Wow. Those are just a couple of things I like about you. You're very cute. You move pretty. You're very fancy. I know you know that. I know you know you're fancy. Yeah. I just think you're fun to be around. Am I making you uncomfortable? He never
Am I
chews
making
on
you
his lead
uncomfortable?
rope, ever.
With all this praise and admiration?
Never. He's never chewed on that lead
You
rope before.
deserve it though, because you're a sweet boy. Yeah. Yeah. Full of joy. I'm glad you're here.
Okay, then he decided that he was gonna go eat grain that had been sitting there for 15, 20 minutes. So I think it's really funny how he handled that because obviously there was nothing at first, but right around 1 minute, he started itching and biting at his rib cage. He started yawning. He yawned like 5 times. It was crazy. And then, you know, he took a break, and then he came back and started yawning again. It was really interesting. And he was very receptive to it. Okay, so you guys remember the video that I put up of him when I tried to do grounding with him when I first kind of got him, how he was just like bzz, bzz, bzz. He was just all over the place. And then when I finally got him grounded, he kind of like dropped down into relaxation, was able to stay there for a little while, and then came back up out of it. It's very, I should try grounding again with him now because I think his brain's in a different spot. It's in a totally different spot. I also thought it was really funny that I had an Arabian trainer who I work on her horses come out and ride him because I wanted someone who kind of specializes in Arabians to come out and ride him and tell me what she felt. Because I want to know how much of this is nerves, how much of this is lack of training, and how much of this is Arabian. I honestly, it's sad that I can say this, but I have not been on an Arabian for like 20 years. I didn't feel like I was that old to be able to say that, but I haven't been on an Arabian for that long. And I was like, geez, Louise, how long has it been? So she came out and rode him, and she thought, well, first of all, fell in love with him, of course, because he's so sweet. And then she started, she rode him around a little bit, and thankfully she feels exactly the same thing that I do. So he's very nervous. He's unsure. He's trying to be super good, little squirrely on the, you know, rib cage. She also said, don't overload him. And I was like, awesome. Because I've only been putting like 20-minute rides on him because I don't want to overload him. She goes, that's perfect for him. And then she goes, make everything fun. And I'm like, yeah, you have to. So I got a lot of reinforcement with that she kind of agreed with what I was saying. But she also said, she stopped at one point in time and she kept laughing and she goes, he keeps looking over at you like, is this right, Mom? Is this right, Mom? And I was like, yeah, buddy, you're doing good. So she was giving him praise under saddle. And then occasionally I would tell him he was doing really good. And you could just kind of see him do his little, okay, I'm doing good, right on, you know, like his little Arab thing.
Aaron,
But
that's what he did in the video though, when you were talking. He got all
yeah,
puffed up. It's like, look at
yeah,
he's talking to me before the
yeah.
releases. It was cute.
I know it's so cute. And so I worked him again today, and I'm telling you guys, I've noticed this change in him, and it's been 1 year. I think I told you guys about this like 3 weeks ago or something like that. I don't know. But it came up on my Facebook that I've had him for 1 year. All these things are happening now at the 1 year mark. He laid down for the first time. It took a year for him to lay down. And now he sleeps every day. All three of them out there sleeping all the time. I have to yell at him and get your sorry butts up off the ground, you know. But it's the first time he's laid down. It took a full year for him to calm down. Okay. Since I started riding him, I feel like he's just really chilled out. Like before, he would have these like spastic episodes where he would bolt and kind of run around and lose his mind, and then he'd come back and then he'd lose his mind again. And I have a lot of videos of that, so that's cool. His His feet are improving a lot. So that was a lot more trauma than I originally thought it was going to be. But he's really improved there. And then, just like his relaxation level is so much better now. Just, he's so calm. Like today we walked and I actually had to cluck him to trot. I was like, no, seriously, trot, go do something. Before it was like, I just want you to walk, buddy. I just want you to walk. So that's a long time for him to unwind. It took a full year. And I know that's so hard for us to do, you know, is to wait that long for horses to just reset. But that was real. And I've noticed a huge change in him. Just like at that 1 year mark, it's really funny. But I want to show you Georgia. I cut it down because Georgia, it was 6 minutes. So Chester released at 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute and like 20 seconds. Georgia was like, no, I don't like any of this stuff. But I want to show you Georgia because it's really funny how different she is. Okay, here we go. Hold on. So this, like I said, I clipped this down because I didn't want you guys sitting through 6 minutes of her staring. So this is picking up right after the 6 minutes. Hold on 1 second. Here she is. Maybe? Okay. Maybe. All right. What do you think? We did team. You want to go do some work instead of this mushy gushy stuff? It's disgusting. Don't have a job. You do. I know. Have you tolerated enough? Have you? I'm gonna go get something done. Okay. Let's do it. You ready? Okay. Don't like that mushy stuff. So Georgia was funny because 6 minutes of me telling her all these amazing qualities that she has, and she does. She has a lot of amazing qualities. And then I finally said, I think what got her is I asked her, what do you think? Are we a good team? And then I said, do you want to go do some work? Are you sick of this mushy gushy stuff? And that's when she said, yeah, let's get out of here. Let's blow this joint. Enough of this. I've had it. Okay. So I think it's funny. That's my stoic red mare. And she really enjoyed when I talked to her about being good at her job, which is funny. I mean, it's weird, right? And another point in time, I also told her, I like that you're a nice boss mare, because she's a boss mare, but she's a nice one. She doesn't like beat everybody up. And she gave me like a little head nod for that. So I thought that was funny, but I wasn't gonna stop that. So kind of interesting. I want you guys to try it if you have time, and if you can videotape it, that'd be amazing. I'd like to see the different personalities of the horses and just kind of document how that goes for you. So it might be kind of interesting. Okay. All right. Any questions on that? Okay, cool. So couple cool videos this week. Teddy, I want to talk about Barbie. Actually, we're going to talk about Barbie first. So do you guys remember Barbie? She is Kristen's. I thought she was a gray for some reason. She's a Palomino, little mare. Okay. And Kristen did leg work with her at a distance. So back when we did the distance challenge where we were like, just, work from a distance on the pole, Kristen chose to work on Barbie and do her legs from a distance. Now, she got huge results with that. That was a big deal. I mean, it was almost instant too. She like started yawning and stuff. So you guys, oh, did Barbie have a leg injury? No? Okay. I didn't remember that. But if you go back and watch that video, and you can just look up Kristen on the coaching community, but she was just doing distance work on Barbie's legs, and she started releasing. So Kristen chose to use Barbie for the leg work, and she didn't have much. Which was awesome, because that's why sometimes when we work on horses, it's a one and done. It's a one and done because tension accumulates over time. Okay. So what did that tension come from in the legs? I don't know. But if tension is going to, return in a certain area, then, you constantly kind of have to go back to it. Like with Georgia, I know I always are going to have to work on her pole, and I'm always going to have to work on her left hind. That's just how it is. That's where she holds her tension. Okay. But I've worked on horses that I got the tension out, and every time I come back to check, it's not there anymore. Okay. So it was just stuck. They couldn't get rid of it themselves. I helped them out. Kristen helped Barbie out, and now that tension isn't there. Okay. So that's really exciting. That's really exciting when you can do that for a horse. Okay. And you can't always, it's not I mean, it is a goal that we get all the tension out, but don't be upset if the tension comes back, because as we all know, being human, we get sore in certain areas too because of stuff that we do, right? Okay. So that was really cool. You guys can watch that Barbie video. Another video that I want to talk about is Teddy. So let me look that up real quick. But Teddy was trying to, this was really fun to watch. He was trying to say something. And I mean, I'm going to say he wasn't communicating all that clear because I couldn't tell what he was trying to say, but he was definitely trying to say something. So, this is what I call the process. So he is in the process of learning how to communicate through body work. Okay.
Thoughts?
Hold on. So let's just watch this. I'll try to get all the closed captions off here. Okay. So we're just going to watch him try to communicate a little bit. It's interesting. Okay, here he is. So we're not going to be able to watch the full 7 minutes, but we'll watch some of it. She said he wasn't breathing a lot, and then he kept walking off, which is your common, like, I don't want to deal with this, right? And then walk off. And she did a great job handling that. I always let him just circle back around to me. See, watch this behavior. Okay, so there's a release. Oh yeah, that was interesting too, is that he started releasing right when she came into the stall and set up the video camera. So I think that's really interesting. He knows it's about bodywork time. Here's another release right off the bat. She hasn't done anything yet. So I don't know what that is. See what he did? Now, normally they point to something. Okay, but he was just kind of bringing his head back and like trying to get her attention. See, did it again. And she's catching on to it. She knows he's doing it. But see, he doesn't have like a point that he's trying to. That's why I say he's not really communicating all that well, because generally if they want a particular spot done, they just point exactly at it. But he's just kind of doing this, which makes it confusing. And then, you know, he obviously has a fair amount of tension in his legs because he doesn't really want them worked on. So I probably would have put one hand on his nose and then just did like 3 or 4 strokes down his leg and then let him go again and see how he feels about that. He's very engaged with her. Just kind of like what she just did there. Did you see how she just kind of did a little quick body work and then got out of there? So there was a breath. So I would do that approach. And then right before he walks off, I would stop and see if that can stop him from walking off. I like, you can just tell that Jennifer's like, what is he trying to say? Because I didn't really know either. And then she also right here tried to go to a place that he would like. So that was a good idea. And then he did it one more time where he really kind of came around and tried to say something to her. Right here, right here. Did you guys see that? Isn't that interesting? So that's why I say, I feel like he's just now starting to come into this, this idea of I can tell her something and she's gonna listen sort of deal, you know, but he's just not really that good at it yet. So it's a fun process because when they get good at it, it's really in your face. Okay. So that was pretty exciting. Now, I had told you that I have 2 reasons that you are allowed to put, not that you're not allowed, but 2, I don't like horses and cross ties. You all know that because I feel like it mutes them. It doesn't let them speak. So I have 2 reasons that you can put a horse in cross ties. One is because you already know what you need to work on and you appreciate their opinion, but you have to get the work done and them moving around ain't gonna help. Okay. So Jennifer, this qualifies. It didn't qualify before, but it does now. Okay, because you know he has tension in those legs because he was like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. He has tension in those legs. We got to get it out. So go ahead and put him in cross ties or tie him, whatever. It's fine. And then the other reason is if they're too mouthy or they're gonna bite you. Okay. Those are the only two reasons I'll put horses in cross ties. Because it takes away their voice. They can't release properly. They can't relax properly. Have you guys ever seen horses like trying to relax and they have cross ties and they're like this? They're like, I really want to enjoy this more, but I can't. Okay. And then they can't release on their rib cage. They can't release on their legs. They can't do it because they're in cross ties. Okay. So I do not do horses in cross ties unless I'm like, listen, I have to work on your glute and you move around too much and you're too tall. Now I have to get on a mounting block, so I can't have you moving around. So, that's when I would do that. Ideally, in the perfect world, it's going to be at liberty in a beautiful meadow that's green grass with a waterfall in the background. Okay. That does not happen. But paddock is great where they can, like Martina's videos where she's in that kind of that big paddock, Leanne's videos where she's in the field and they have their halter on. Very cool. Awesome. Nancy goes in the round pen, different stuff like that. Cool. I don't mind a stall, so you can still see that he has the ability to move, and that stall did not silence him because he was like, I'm out of here. Okay, so I like that. So yeah, the order goes, in a majestic field somewhere, paddock, stall, cross ties for certain reasons, or hallway or whatever. Okay, good question, Linda. All right. So he's trying to say something. It's pretty cool. I'm excited. I can't wait till he figures out how to say it. And then also when we get that tension out of his legs, that's going to be cool too.
I think that this past year, our whole relationship has changed, where I think for both of us, we're starting to trust each other more. So it was
Yeah.
interesting to hear you say that, like he's trying, and it just clicked for me that, well, yeah, I think, a year ago he really didn't have much of a voice, and I didn't have, our relationship was so different. We're kind of in a new partnership together. So that was great feedback. Thanks.
Yeah. It's so exciting to have those moments where you're like, did you just, and you know what? If you ever think to yourself, did he just try to say something? You're right.
Yeah.
He did. So go with it. Because if you're wrong, who cares, right? If
Well, I
he was
had
like,
such a strange experience. I did that this morning. And then this afternoon, he's boarded at the moment. I've got two horses at home, and I've got this new horse at my house. He's been here about 9 months, who's very guarded and very skittish to be touched. And I was out cleaning up the paddock, and so in the same day, like that's the horse I would think I wouldn't be able to, would just walk away from me, seeing me coming. But that horse today came up to me and was just in my space. And I
Mhm.
like, oh, you want a little scratch? And then he started moving his body into
Oh
me,
yeah.
showing me all the places. And like, wait, no, that's what Teddy's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, just wait.
They, they were
That's a
flip-flops
massage
today.
diva in the making, I can tell.
Yeah.
Right away. So that's a good point, actually. I want to talk about this because I had someone recently say, oh, I have 7 high-strung horses that if you try that pounding on them, they're going to go through the roof. You know what? You don't know that. Okay. You never know what horses are going to like massage, what horses are going to want what moves. That's why the more modalities the better. You don't know if your super sensitive thoroughbred is going to freak out if you pound them. They're not going to, by the way, but you don't. I worked on this huge warm blood stallion, this big old tank of a horse. And I thought, I gotta get it. He's huge. He was huge. I was like, I gotta get into those muscles and get him all loosened up and da 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 da. He didn't like my normal style massage. And he kept kind of just going like he was putting up with it, but he didn't like it. And I was like, what is going on? And I was like, do you want some floofy stuff? Do you want that like light stuff that like, I'm just gonna like lightly graze you? Yes, he did. He wanted effleurage on his whole body. And I was like, cool, dude, because you're huge and you'd be a lot of work for me if you wanted deep friction. Okay, so I just did the slowest, quietest, massage on this giant horse. And I thought, I would not have guessed this. I would not have guessed. But you'd never know what a horse is going to like. Okay. And there's also, and I don't know why, but they're always, you guys know Joy, right? That little bay mare, little tough bay mare, right? They're always fast. They're like barrel racers and stuff like that. They're always these super fast little quarter horse bay mares. They always have sweet names like Annie or Joy or something like that, but they're like they're like fiery little things. They love massage. They love it. It's so funny. And the owners will be like, I don't know if they're gonna like this, or they don't really like attention. They don't really like being pet, all this stuff. And I go, cool, like I'll do what I can. I hope I can help them out. And they love, if you guys haven't seen Joy, she's turning into a massage diva. She loves massage. So I just find it super funny. You never know what your horse is gonna like, what, you know, based off their personality. It doesn't matter. Some of them really dig different types of body work. So the more you can know, the more you can play around. Don't shy away from certain strokes because you think the horse won't like it, because you're telling them that they, you know, that they don't have an opinion. So always let them kind of tell you quickly, and just listen to them. So if they say, oh, I really don't like that, then back off, you know, as I say to do, and then try something else. Okay. But it's pretty fun to see. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Yeah, Stephanie.
Sorry. It's kind of related to this, but I'm going to be going to a pretty intense show that's going to last a week, the 1st of May.
Ooh.
And you would, yeah, it's a long duration. It's my first like really big show.
Cool.
And like, I'm not going to massage him before, but I was thinking like after my runs is, because you had mentioned something on your Facebook page. Not that we have to spend the next 40 minutes explaining it, but would you concur with that? Just like hitting those places that I know where he tends to hold tension as
Yeah.
we're
So
after I'm
when
bathing and
horses
whatnot.
are at a show, my goal is, one, if I don't know the horse, I do not do a full body massage on them, because if they're restricted in certain areas of their body and then I come in, give them a full body massage, all of a sudden their shoulders move better than they've ever moved before, they're going to face plant if they try to do something. So I do not massage horses that I've never worked on before a show. If I'm going to massage, and I have a lot of people that want to massage before a show, so I do recommend that. But 2 days, 3 days before a show is great, okay?
Okay.
So I do that, and my goal in massage pre-show is restore full range of motion.
Okay.
Okay, and then hit the spots that they you know that they need, like Georgia pole, right? Pole face, get the tension out of there, restore full range of motion. So I'd have you do the legs, and I'd have you do lateral flexion, and I'd have you do shoulders and glutes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
After the ride, my goal is recovery, relaxation. Because they should have a full range of motion. They just work their
Yes.
butt off, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I want to help them recover. So it's going to be a slower massage. I want them to relax. I want to move a little bit of blood around. I'm definitely going to work their legs. I'm going to rub their legs. Like this last week's homework, I'm going to rub those legs, get that tension out of there. Okay. Face work, help them relax. And then of course it's going to be horse dependent. Okay. So I want to help them relax and recover is after the ride. So
Okay.
that's kind of how I work those.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yep.
good. I mean, I've been giving him like full on body massages and I have to tell you, he just feels different in a good way.
I'm sure.
I mean, he just,
Who, Megs?
yeah.
He looks different.
He was just amazing today. I went and I was trying to practice my rundowns and I didn't do fast spins, but you know, he would get out of his rhythm and I told my daughter, he just feels like a different horse.
Yeah, it's
So,
awesome.
and thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Are we
Okay.
announcing your clinic yet?
Yes, yeah, we can. I mean, we might need to work on like a different, I'm finding out there's a like a barrel race and a cutting. So I'm looking with those people that had strong interest to maybe do it like on a Monday, Tuesday in the
Okay.
middle of the week if they can. I'm gonna check with Michelle and see if the arena is available to get some of
Okay.
those people that really wanted to do it with the horse show. So Wanda, I will be in touch with you if you can still make it to Cody for the clinic.
Yep. Cody, Wyoming on May 31st
Fine,
to
we're trying, yep,
July, June,
that's what we're hoping. We're
June
hoping.
1st. And then
Mhm.
maybe the 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, I'm gonna, yeah,
Okay.
yep,
So if
so,
you guys are anywhere near there, end of May, beginning of June, we're gonna have a
Mhm.
2-day clinic or a 4-day clinic, whatever we end
yes,
up
I know.
doing.
Gosh, you
Okay.
know, checking
So
them
well,
down.
I'll have a flyer out for everyone, at that point.
Okay,
Were the,
Okay.
thank you.
Stephanie, will there be stalls there? Or do I
Not on,
need,
not on site, but down, I live 8 miles out of town and Michelle's arena is just probably about 4 miles up the road. But at the rodeo grounds, there's stalls there.
okay,
And I'll get that information to you. I mean, yeah, so
okay.
it won't be booked up in June, July, close to July 4th. Now that
Yeah.
would be a different thing because all the
Yeah.
PRC rodeo fans are here and whatnot. But yeah, so now, and if
So
you,
it's gonna be a
anybody
party.
else,
Come on down.
what's that?
It's gonna be a party. Come on down.
I know it will be fun. It will be fun. So good deal.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Any last questions, anyone? All right, you have your homework. I want to see those videos. You know what? We should practice. We might have to do these words of affirmation on our husbands. Because now I feel guilty. Now I feel guilty that I feel like I should probably go build him up a little bit. See if he licks and chews, does some yawns. I don't know. You never, hey, videotape that too if it happens.
My husband's used to it. He doesn't get it.
All right, guys. Have a great week. Looking forward to it. See you later.